So the solution to my channel to being creative is showing the face of the Bible and not showing my face. Also showing the face of my rubbish bag and what I put in the rubbish. So that's what my creative channel is going to be about. So I have been accused of being a feminist because I was the odd one out, 1 in a million. 1 in a million, I think. So is a million 6 zeros? I don't know. That's how much I know my maths. So they said, why didn't you ever do self-analysis? Why didn't you do self-analysis? Why the Children's Social Services removed your daughter from your care in 2014. Today's date is 2025. So I did scrutinise that, in fact, the abuse has happened because of Children's Social Services intervention, that her dad abused her. And they made matters worse during domestic abuse and divorce. So God says, I am laying in Zion a stone that will make people stumble. The rock will cause them to fall. One who trusts in God will never be put to shame. So who is this rock? So Jesus is my rock, Yeshua. Jesus is my foundation as a single mum. Jesus, rock. So my stability emotionally and my security, life insurance. Stability for my faith, my religious freedom, which they also blocked by prejudice. Religious freedom. Christian devout woman. Persecuted. I was accused of indoctrinating. I don't indoctrinate. My daughter had education from the secular world and non-secular world, so she had balanced education. She had a better childhood than I did. She had plenty of activities after school. She wasn't locked up. She wasn't smothered. She had lots of holidays, new clothes and everything. Well, I had nothing. So they separated my daughter only because somebody who was a multi-billionaire didn't like me and didn't want me to succeed. Handed over to them by a man called Jay, who was a Spanish, half-caste Indian tyrant who betrayed me with a kiss, same as Judas Iscariot. Now, this Jay I never had sex with. I only had intercourse with my daughter's dad. So my daughter is named Ellen, and her dad is called Chris. I abstained from sex after my divorce, abstinence. She's now 20 years old, so pregnancy counts for sex for 1 year, which would be age 19. So I haven't had sex for 18 years since I was pregnant. And so people ask me, why did you remain single? Are you feminist? Why did you not go for men to help you? And the reason for that is once bitten, twice shy. Cannot have another mate until I cure my wound, while the authority and systemic abuse system, I'll just put here system, kept picking up my wounds, psychological wounds, and repeating bad history, and by I'll just put here copying, by copying or by using a type of a mirror of domestic abuse by systemic abuse. So it's mirrored. It's a bully that forces their guilt and their shame and blame onto the innocent victim, targeting single mums, law-abiding citizen, to incriminate them, particularly if they're the background of a legal migrant. And this is disgusting that they do this to children and single mothers for appeasing the billionaire profits and making them rich on our suffering and our firstborn and our first fruits of our labours, according to Isaiah 53 and 54 and 55. This is what labour is supposed to be, but because it's satanic and not holy, it's the opposite of Isaiah 54, 55 for the abused woman. So they're devil's advocates. So I don't want this to be anymore. I want it to stop, and I want the society to be able to have the true Labour Party from a Christian perspective. And so how am I going to, in this video, prove them wrong, how I've done analysis in criticising myself as a single mum? That's what they really wanted. Well, I was an orphan, so I didn't know my parents. Outcast. Unemployed, so that means I had no family, no community, no church community that was willing to support me because they found out I was poor, and they used gossips. So they used gossips, my divorce, and they didn't like me because I didn't have the money. So the churches, even the false churches who are extremely bad politicians, not good politicians, were using bad reasons why to excommunicate me, not keep in touch. They were expecting me to keep in touch and chase after their administration. It's supposed to be the other way around. Keep in touch with all people who were baptized at that church. They didn't. It's supposed to be their duty to chase and to check, are you all right? How are you? No one asked, how are you? Are you all right? I spent £25,000 on a church boarding school, which is Protestant, for nothing. So when I did come to see them, there was another woman connected to my ex-husband called Elaine Thompson, who was part of that church, Thompson, who was married to my ex-husband's dad. So in-law, oh my God, in-law, dad's, in other words, granddad, dad's in-law's brother. So she was there as a boss of that church. And so obviously all the judgments, all the perceptions she had of me, she was a block. And there was another man in there who had wanted to force me to be his bride. And that's another reason why I never attended that church. It was horrific because I was baptized there and a lot of my blood money was wasted on that boarding school. No one asked, are you okay? Can you update us? Can can you keep in touch? When I did come back, no one sort of noticed me, even though I made myself known. So it was unwelcoming because of this woman who was connected to my in-laws and my ex, where I just survived from domestic abuse and violence. He didn't want my pregnancy, and he accused me of having an affair, which of course I didn't. So I'm criticizing myself. Then why didn't I go and find another church? And that's because I was tortured under mental health. 115 injections in 2008. So I found myself sexually abused, also by somebody in the hospital who was disguised as a worker in the hospital, when in fact he was one of the actors. He was acting. He was part of the therapy class, and he was a Baptist evangelical Christian who was a devil in disguise. So I was attacked in this church also with a devil in disguise. So I was attacked twice. So once when I was age 15, which was in the 90s, and once here in my 30s. So my life has been destroyed twice over. And should I be criticizing myself with all these events that had happened? None of it was my fault, and yet the authorities are pushing and forcing to blame and shame everything on me, so that they, the billionaires and the majority, are right and I am wrong and threatened as the minority. So it's the other way around. They have to be scrutinized, and I shouldn't have to criticize myself because I had been a victim and I have survived as a lone survivor. Survival. Yep. So therefore I should not criticize myself, even though they push and force me to do so, which is unfair. Yes, I did cry bitter tears, but I was not a depressive, so not depressive, because I'm not guilty. I did the right thing. I was suppressed and oppressed from year 2000 all the way to 2025. So that's many years of my life wasted for somebody's ego, for an ego of somebody who is insane, sociopath, psychopath, so mental health, narcissist, and all types of mental disorders. Because they're insane, they forced me to also be insane through a system. So we're both. So according to a system, I'm as insane as a multi-billionaire. Systemic abuse, professionally, personally. Here's the arrow over here. I am now forced to be mentally sick and a depressive, suppressed and oppressed. That means silenced, and the humblest cheated of justice, oppressed. So I'm not depressive, but I'm forced to be through torture. And I have been captured by these systems of abuse because of being alone. And again, the authorities are saying, oh, it's your fault, you're alone. You need to do self-analysis. Why do your parents hate you? So I did self-analysis. Is it my fault? My fault? Nope, again, not my fault. Why I'm isolated and a reject from my family? Again, it is toxic, dysfunctional. Never agree on anything. Not agree, and not sympathize. So in other words, not care. They're greedy, so not sharing. They're greedy and selfish. Pigs, bad pigs. And also hypocrisy. And so they would begrudge me my food, any gift. They've never given me a gift, financial or spiritual gift, never given me any emotional support, and I had to survive alone. Some of the family members are have healthy paranoia. Lost contact with them. I don't know their address. Some of them live in Poland. Some of them live in other parts of the world. And so I don't do self-harm. I don't take creative drugs, abuse alcohol, abuse cigarettes or any other. I haven't murdered anybody or harmed myself. So why did they put me in the wrong category of being an abuser and forcing me to love the abuser, to live with the enemy? And I'm not my own worst enemy. It is these multi-billionaires who are jealous and envious of me that force me to be the same as them, because if I'm not, I'm threatened. So I've done self-analysis. So therefore I am not a feminist, neither am I a horrible feminine who is getting married for sex or getting married for money. That is how you kill the saints. So looking at it from Jeremiah perspective, what does Jeremiah say here? The light, always taken for granted as a single mum. Similarly, listen, don't stay stuck in your ways. God's message dealing here. Let your lives glow bright. Turn out before God, it says he turns off the light. So that could be a rhyme. That could be a song. Yep. Turn on your light before God turns it off. Before you trip and fall in the dark, the light is always there on your path, and the world will turn it black. So God says, if you love the world and systemic abuse, you're God's enemy. God gave his only begotten son. Whoever loves Christ does not love systemic abuse. So there's two types of worlds. So we're going to circle the world. So there's two types. There's one for the devil, Satan, and one for saints and God. The other horn is cut off. There's a third horn, which is arrogance and aggression. So God also has a horn. The devil's horn is cut off, but the little middle one is growing as a boastful, arrogant, aggressive one. So there's two types of world. The one that God gave God's one and only Son, Jesus, Yeshua, the Messiah, so that the world is saved through a new creation and a new planet Earth and a new physical body. Already here, already processing. spiritually, and in the future, physically. So there's two realities. There's a spiritual reality and a physical, bone and flesh and blood. Physical and spiritual is about your intuition, your instincts, your personal beliefs, your faith in the invisible. Seeing is not believing. We live by faith, not by sight. So the two realities that science is only now looking at, including time, which is not based on that clock or man-made time. God is in an eternal time, which is spiritual reality. Check. So this is how we checkmate with the game checkmate, or noughts and crosses, against the devil and the devil's advocates who love lies more than the truth, versus the worshippers will worship in spirit and in truth, another spiritual reality that to make it possible, the impossible for us to analyze our Christian faith in the spirituality of loving the truth more than the lie. So this is what, so God, again, repeat, if you love the world, you hate God. If you love Donald Trump, Putin, Modi in India, Kim Jong-un, or anybody who wants to dominate the world through weapons, dominate the world through a financial status and how much money they own, how much land they own, how much money they own, and how much weapons they own, they are making World War III. If you love them, if you fear them more than God, you therefore love the system and you do not love God. You do not love the truth. You hate the truth. You hate God. And therefore you're an enemy of God. So I've made that absolutely clear that anybody who endorses and embraces tyrants, agrees with tyrants. So I would agree with all of them tyrants if they went and killed the criminals, if they reformed, if they actually made war against evildoers, but it's the other way around, they protect evildoers. So therefore, they're useless. They kill all the wrong people. They execute all the wrong ones. I mean, why have they made prisons overcrowded with child molesters and child abusers, and they set them free, they set the murderers free? Why did Christ die? Christ died to improve the criminal justice system, to do the opposite of what they did to Christ, to set the murderer free and crucify the innocent. And Jesus Christ did that. So when I say Jesus Christ, I don't use God's name in vain. So this is what it means, how the world is turning everything black, as pitch black. There is a film out there done by somebody, V-A-N. I don't know if it's his last name, I don't remember. But the film is called Pitch Black. Pitch Black. And that's what it's based on here. Similar to that film. I don't know if he's got, I think his surname has Ox in it. Mr. Ox or something like that, Van Drox, so I don't know. So the next and the last, I've got two more paragraphs. I'll go off by myself and weep over you. So this is symbolic for my independence. How I have nothing to be sorry for. After I have cried many years, survived bitter tears of post-traumatic stress disorder, and my daughter had an emotional detachment disorder, for them to break her confidence and to do child abuse. So they're the emotional child abusers, not me. And rivers of tears. So rivers means I was the odd one out in the whole of England. So they stole my compensation money against human rights abuses. I should be the one who's multi-billionaire, not them. So rivers. So the whole country of England. So I am the true queen and the true royal in Christ. It's me. I should be the richest person in this world to be compensated against human rights abuses. And then persecuting the innocent and prejudice and total accusation of tyrants, so that it would appease somebody else's ego, so that my life has become about a misogynistic man's life while I'm dying. He on my suffering, he's prospering and thriving. And God told me to remain with Thrive Homes until I can find someone to help me to take them to court, take Roger Ayers to court, take Thrive Homes to court, take the NHS to court. That's who I want to marry, to regain what the devil has stolen from me, my eligible money, my compensation. It's happened to me twice in life, when I was age 7, and to help the audience remember, age 37, let's say approximately. So my compensation stolen by my toxic relatives when I was hit by a car, my arm, leg and pelvis bone and death threat. I nearly died in a car hitting me in England. I was then awarded a British citizenship because the courts acknowledged that my relatives are toxic and bad, and they didn't care about me in my childhood, and I was sexually abused. That was hidden secret. It never went to court because they oppressed me and silenced me and forced me to go to boarding school. And all that blood money, £25,000 wasted as a 7-day boarder in a Protestant boarding school, Seventh-day Adventist, where I was baptised and where I lived as a 7-day boarder for 5 years, wasted £25,000. And in my hardship and extreme pain, I had gained my official citizenship, and my auntie in Cambridge has the evident document that she refused to give to me because she wants me to worship her and bow down to her, an evil witch. I hope she drops dead right now, Nadia Hamlin. So she said she thinks it was best for me, without asking what was best for me, was to have a family that actually cared for me, not a formal environment, which was a prison. So they wasted my money from age 7, and approximately age 37 again, when I should be in a position to sue mental health, sue all of these bad authorities, including my housing. So because God's sheep will end up in exile. Yeah, so this is what's happening to all the saints, as in my life. We are slaves in modern day slavery, on social media, deliberately putting tyrants on my path to appease children's social services bullies in Hertfordshire, Hemel Hempstead. So where are they? They're in Hemel Hempstead. Who are they? Jenny Jones, Jenny Coles, and Elaine Kelleher, a Nazi social worker. So she's retired probably, and she has contacted, so Elaine Kelleher and a crop police officer called Phil in Hertfordshire Constabulary, and Todd Grande on YouTube knows about her, or she's contacted him, possibly. I don't have evidence of that. But he did a program about somebody who's very similar to my case and very similar to Elaine Kelleher. So this is where they are, and I get the feeling that Todd Grande knows about it. So he comes across on YouTube as a psychologist, not a psychiatrist. How does he get police private and confidential information, which is illegal? Come down off your high horse, your dazzling crowns, to tumble off of your head. Negev, everyone trapped. Judah, the whole country dragged to oblivion. So that's what they've turned my daughter. Now she has a personality disorder because of them, Ellen Boyd. And also Zion is dead. Where is Zion? Is physically dead, but spiritually alive with Jesus Joshua. So that means that many people don't believe that Jesus resurrected from the dead in the physical body, even his enemies have witnessed Jesus resurrect from the dead. They think it's all made up and mythical. So Zion is not modern day Zion today. Modern day Israel today is a half-caste breed of Europeans and other nationalities. The authentic Jews are all wiped out by genocide. They don't exist according to Revelation chapter 2. They were wiped out by genocide many years ago. So Nazis and Europeans are the large half-caste breed in modern day Israel. So it's a mix of many nationalities. Maybe there's one or two authentic indigenous Jews in Africa, maybe, that we don't even hear about, or they're in hiding. What's going on? Why me? The answer is you're guilty. Your guilt has your life endangered. Your guilt has you writhing in pain. Surprise! As the pain of women having a baby. To look down on you. So your guilt has your life endangered. So they're saying that this is my profile here. Why have I suffered so much? Because I was married to the devil. I was married to a paedophile. I was married to a madman. I was married to an Englishman who was a criminal, monster. So now I'm not saying all English people are bad. I have not said that. But how are you going to feel when the people you have played up to, looked up to all your life, such as my foster mum, Catholic mum called Anne, is now looking down on you? You didn't expect this. So they're saying, this is my profile now. I deserve this. So all the bad things that have happened to me, I deserve death. I deserve every hell there is, even though the Bible says no weapon formed against you will prosper. Can an African change their skin? Can a leopard get rid of its spot? So what are you? What are the odds on you doing good? How can you be good? And you are so long practicing evil. So they're saying I'm the one who's evil. Who's saying this? So am I reading somebody's interpretation of me? Who's speaking here? Is the devil speaking here about me or somebody else? But it certainly sounds like me. It sounds as though God has never forgiven me, that I have divorced the devil. So I am speaking here about God, who is initial YHWH, versus God, who is initial judge, so the corrupt judge. So I know that God, through Christ, has forgiven me, but the governments and the judges, I'll just put here govern, they're saying that they had not forgiven me. They don't like me. So they've swapped. They've taken over the God's job. So God, the human God, and goddesses are the ones who are judging me wrongly, are satanic. So I know that God has behaved like my enemy. I know that this was God with a capital G, past tense, but now God has forgiven me and says, I will not remember your sin anymore. I've put it at the bottom of the ocean. Because you were one with the devil. You are now one in Christ. And so every song, every word, every deed is for Christ. It's obliterating the devil. It's saying, we're ignoring your words, we're ignoring your lyrics, we're ignoring your motives. Your motives, your lyrics, your words, your food, all your poisons, it doesn't touch us by the blood of Christ. We're ignoring your evil. Your evil does not exist. There's no evil in God and there's no evil in Christ. So this is God's commandment in my life. Compared to the devil, who is dogmatic. I know you're there, Wawa. I know. That's my rabbit. Also joining in the conversation. She can hear me talking, so she likes to join in. She likes to play with a box. So he's saying, I have not voted for this government. Never voted, not voted. For this government that is there to incriminate me. So I'm innocent. This is my judge. God is my judge. I'm innocent. Innocent. I am good, not because I'm making myself good. I am right, not because I'm making myself self-righteous, because of what God and Christ has done in my life to make me happy, to make me have peace, to make me have security, and etc. There's a huge list of what God has done for me. Even though I deserve death, God has given me life in God's grace and mercy. But these hypocrites, they've done more evil than I have ever done. And they're forcing their evil on me and saying that they're going to be my God with a small g. And they're going to use my satanic versus saints. So now they're saying they're going to use a system to oppress me, to bully me, system of my past. So my past is used against me, of my parents who've never taken care of me and dumped me in a foreign country, of my partner or my spouse who I divorce. So it's like I'm divorcing a dead man all over again and blamed that he died, which has nothing to do with me. It's actually God's judgment against me, against him. So all of these, that my God came to rescue me, the creator of heaven and earth, God, the judge, almighty, who has given me strength and who has given me mercy, while these merciless, greedy, selfish pigs, bad pigs, have done the opposite of what God has done. So I had to suffer in silence. I've been silenced, suffer in silence. And now I'm speaking out against them, or blamed for a parasite and pooped all over by a-holes. So LGBTQ, they have more civil rights than I do. So parasite. So these triangles are as teeth of a Leviathan monster, of that God with a small g. So they're saying, I have never changed. I'm the one who's evil. I'm a bad parent. Oh, I'm a bad mother who never had sex with her husband, says the Nazis and these woman abusers and child abusers. Why would I want to give someone sex who was abusing me and who hated my pregnancy? Why would I give a divorced man sex that I divorced, that I left? That doesn't make any sense. So their judgments contradict reality. They're still stuck in fantasy. So still stuck in fantasy. So something they made up, not based on fact, not facts, is how they're persecuting me. So we should scrutinize them, and I should stop criticizing myself. In fact, I need people who are going to congratulate me, sympathize with me, and look at the measure of what I have done for correct information rather than disinformation and defaming me. That's God's decree. So I'm not surprised that my Catholic foster mum is against me. And I never looked up to her because I knew that she never cared about me and that she only did it for a reputation that she believed she would go to heaven by her own works. So nobody could say I'm going to heaven because of my own works. Your works are as good as a filthy, dirty cloth. Nobody can claim to be good by their own works. And this is what this stupid, legal, Catholic, thick as shit, Catholic foster mum, thick as sickness and diarrhea and vomit in my toilet, actually believes in. So she's actually enabling souls to go to hell. This corrupted Catholic mum who believes that she can earn her way to heaven, not by being humbled. She cheats humble people of justice, rather by incriminating the innocent, hiding the evidence, deleting the evidence, and not being a people. She forgets to be a person. She's too political. She's too professional, but bad type, not a good type. She's too paranoid, bad type, not a good type. She doesn't protect my daughter from danger. She enables abusers and teaches my daughter to love abusers. And so she is doing this Anne, Catholic foster mum. Yep, she's doing this. I've not looked up to her. Her surname is Gibson. And she only cared by acting skills and by making herself go in good books so the Catholic Church and those around her believe that she's doing good. In fact, she's the biggest witch of them all. Like, wrongly accusing and incriminating the innocent. If she'd given a chance, she would probably want to be sexually molested by my husband. She loved him that much. They also pray for the dead. You don't pray for the dead. God is the God of the living, not of the dead. There's so much stupidity and so much thickness, even more so intelligent, even more stupid than the poo or an object that has no life source in it, a living dead zombie. Even thicker than shit. In other words, even more stupid than an object that has no soul in it, as a salt statue. That's how stupid she is. Even the most intelligent, who has a degree as a teacher, and who has all the qualifications, has become the most stupid. Because God is measuring everything. So when the devil comes to copy these words, it is the devil who wants to disrespectfully copy the Bible. So when it says God, it is twofold. One for saints and Jesus Christ, and the other one for Satan. So there's two, it's like a twin there. It's doubled. Like the Chinese say, yin and yang. Each paragraph, sentence, even word is used by God versus the devil. Yep, so this has all been about me, past tense. And it says, your obsessions with God's affairs, God's adulteresses, God's in the fields. Every time I look, you're off with another God. Jerusalem, what sordid life? Is there any hope for you? Because we have betrayed God through the world system. So there's no humanity and there's no humility left. So now, as a prophet and priestess in God, with a capital G, I'm saying no. I rejected God. I put a cross on the gods and said, no, 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 no. And the more I said no, the more they came and oppressed and suppressed. So, the people will fall to the ground moaning. Yep, that's happened to me. Let's tick that. Well, the sounds of Jerusalem's sobs rise up. The rich people sent their servants for water. That also has a double meaning, joy and freshness. They went to the cisterns and they were dry, back to empty buckets, wringing their hands, shaking their heads. No, 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 no. All farm work had stopped. No drop of rain had fallen. The farmers don't know what to do because of bad politics. They wring their heads and they shake their heads and their hands. The doe abandoned her fawn and babies on the field, the reindeer, or the deers, foxes. There is no grass, the grass is all straw. A blonde bimbo. Bimbo's in charge of films and politics. The blonde dumb bimbo, the dumb dogs. The wild dogs, so the dumb dogs and the wild dogs, oh my God, are worse than the wolves, who are now in charge. We know you're guilty. We've lived bad lives. But do something. Do it for your sake, God. Time and time again, we've betrayed you. No doubt about it, we've sinned against you. Any hope for us? This is a holy vampire. Last chance on this trouble. Acting like tourists. Why, God, you are acting like a tourist. Taking sights today and gone tomorrow. Why do you stand there and stare? Misfortune. Like someone who does not do nothing in a crisis. Like someone who doesn't know what to do in a crisis. So this represents my dad in former Yugoslavia. My housing, which is Thrive Homes. They do nothing in a crisis. But God, in fact, you are here with us. You know who we are. You named us. Memaha Punch. Don't leave us hanging in the lurch. Yeah. So they're saying that my bad dad, as a tourist, and my stepmom, and my biological mum, whom I've only met 4 times in 40 years. 4 times in 40 years approximately. So my real mum and auntie. All of this, they have all of these things to ruin my life and my reputation, so that only they are right as partial judges. So these are partial judges. One-sided rich judges, one-sided partial rich judges. They're richer than me, for sure. They've overtaken that as an enemy, and God had been on their side as an enemy to destroy me and my confidence. And I'm saying, God, why is it only me being destroyed and they're never destroyed? When are you going to rise up against them? Because they've done worse things than I ever did. So that's the question. God, I know that you're with me. I know you forgave me for the wrongs because of my DNA. So that all of this, again, is not my fault. It's my bad blood. So God hated me for my bad blood in the devil. So I'll put here and DNA. So DNA in the devil and partial judges. So God hated me for these 2 reasons. Is God fair? Is God evil? Yeah. We all sinned, and we have all fallen short of God's glory. We're all sinners. We are all fallen short of God's glory because we all have bad blood. So I'll put here in brackets bad blood. We all have murderers, robbers, and rapists in our blood. There's white scum of societies that are worse than gypsies, and I didn't even know I was. And then I discovered that my dad is a quarter gypsy. He's more Serbian. No one's perfect. So then Christ came along. This is the Old Testament, the Torah, and then you have the New Testament where Christ died for me so that I could live. While these Antichrist is saying I can't live. So again, God said this to his people, since they have loved to wander on this and that, not given thought where they're going. So I'm going, I don't know where I'm going. This is my ex who had stolen my virginity. While he was supported, I was never supported. Except to note their guilt and punish their sins. Yep, tick that as well. That's happened to me. I was punished because of him. And then all of this punishment that seems totally unfair, it seems as God is a tyrant. No, God is not a tyrant. God is not evil. God had measured exactly my sin and my punishment for my sin, for my bad blood, for the fact that I was responsible for killing Jesus Christ in Isaiah 53. You are responsible for killing Jesus Christ. All of us in sin, in evil DNA, and because of these evil judges that you're paying for. But I didn't pay them. They're the ones who paid me. So I was punished for their money, for their compensation, and for my citizenship in Britain from age 6 and 7. I was punished by my parents. Punish, and suffer. That's all I've ever known. And so then God said enough when Jesus came and died for me on the cross. And now God says, I am your husband. I'm your spiritual husband. So spirit husband in the Holy Spirit in Isaiah 54. That's my reward. And 53. Isaiah 53. This is my reward. But this witch came along and thinks that she can steal the Bible. And even that she can now, this witch and wizard and monsters can now use the synagogue of Satan to say it is about the devil and the devil is God and God is the devil. So in a famine, COVID pandemic, parasites, there's nothing to worry about. But it says here, preachers on social media are liars. I have never sent them. The sermons they have been handing out are sheer illusion, issues of lies in the dark. So the verdict, all preachers who preach using my name as preachers, I never sent them in the first place. War, famine will never come, they said. But war and starvation did come, and corpses and victims of war, starvation, and unburied funerals, their wives, children, and they are full burnt of all their evil. They will get the full brunt for their evil. So God is a just judge, and there is no escape to the exact measurement of all anyone who has done evil will be paid back exactly or more. Then what did Jeremiah say? My eyes pour tears, the day tears, night tears, Susa, buttered, bruised, cruelly wounded. Dead corpses everywhere, pests, flies, diseases, stench, starving bodies. Oh, nothing, emptiness. He cries out, God, what did he say? How we are alive in this cruel existence. We are all sinners against you. Don't give up on humanity, on humility. He's begging God. Have mercy on my heart and mind. So do not abandon your glorious body, your beautiful temple in human body. So it's not only about the spirit, it's the spirit and the flesh. Don't break faith with us. This is human rights, human right abuses. Save us from hell and war and famine. Can the no gods of godless nations cause rain? Then he's concentrating on the cloud and the creation, the creator. Here he's concentrating on the Godhead. So he's the boss. He is a God, all powerful, the happiest, the most beautiful. So here he's concentrating on God as the most powerful, most authoritative, most beautiful. So beautiful. So here beauty. And here he's concentrating, focused on the creator over here about the rain and how the rain gives us food and water to drink, dinky dink dinks, and animals and pets. So he's saying, God, 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 calling out, calling, keep persisting. So it's stressing, tension, stress, tension, call, persist. And that's what I've done. I've done that for many years until God says, no more. You don't have to keep begging me. You don't have to keep calling me. You don't have to go on your knees. You don't have to prostrate on your belly like a Muslim anymore. Just no more. I'm with you, always. I'm suffering with you, Emmanuel. God suffers with us. Because you respect me, you bow down to me, I will now respect you. So that's the relationship with God, with a capital G, versus the gods with a small g, which I've described as human gods and goddesses over there on the other page. So this is my experience as a saint. So first I followed God devoutly, and then secondly, God is following me. And then he said about slavery. So all of this exile here is about slavery and survival. And also supplication, to surrender. So I had to surrender to the enemy, work with the enemy all of my life. Even my relatives, my own flesh and blood. These are the three things. I had to endure evil until I could not endure it anymore. And then God made me invincible. Whether I live or die, I am happy because God is suffering with me. So not God and goddess, but I am with God and God is with me. I will grab you and hit you hard. I've tired of letting you off the hook. I threw you to four winds, scatter you as leaves. You will lose everything. And even then, you haven't changed. Created more widows, singles among you. The mothers will get the news of their sons have been killed, their children are killed. Anguish, terrible deaths, the sons of pandemic, diseases. Robbed of her children in her prime age, the sun sets at noon. I'll round you up. No one's going to be left alive. See that you're killed by your enemies. So this is a curse against all of them who have not had the mercy from God. So they have known of God, but they had not remained close to God. They have wandered away from God. So nothing has kept me wandering away from God. Romance, food, the internet, nothing. So to say, I don't deserve this. This is injustice. This is a degeneration. It's a degeneration. It's a condemnation. It's a genocide. It's a pandemic. It's also everything to do with unholy war. Unholy war. What else is there? A degenerate. It's also rape, sex without consent. It's also, all of this is about being made so I'm not fertile anymore, sterile, fertility. All of this has happened to me, all of it. Living with the enemy, surrounded by the enemy, sleeping with the enemy. Oh, the enemy judging me wrongly, the enemy having the first word and the last word. It's all about the enemy, and being single. So notice here where it talks about singleness, single, and how the enemy has gotten stronger. And I am weaker and powerless. So all of this happened, and God has allowed this evil to happen because of my DNA, and so I'm analysing myself why all these bad things have happened. Again, everything was my fault, and then because of Christ, Yeshua, none of it was my fault. So do people get it? Everything was my fault. Was, past tense. My fault was my fault as a persecuted Christian here. Because of my DNA, which we say my bad blood, in the devil. I married the devil, the atheist. I didn't know any better, that's why. Oh, God. God help me. And because of my partial bad judges again. So everything was my fault because of my DNA, bad blood, and because of the bad billionaires. The bad billionaires. I'll put here bad judges, authorities. Oh, bad judge, authority, corrupt governors, corrupt governors, gangsters. So all these bad things, everything was my fault. All of it. So that was a condemnation and curse on my life. Until God said, no more guilty. And none of it is my fault. Was and is. That means now. And is to come. The future. So once forgiven forever. So 1, now, 2, and is to come, 3. So Jesus has forgiven me my sins that deserve the death penalty because of all of this. Everything was my fault. I chose to marry the devil, the criminal. I chose to allow the pregnancy to happen. I had sex with him. I trusted him. And I was always unaware of God since my girlhood. I lived in fear. I didn't know who God was. I was guilty. So everything was my fault since my girlhood. Since all the abuse that's happened to me, I feared humans more than God. I worshipped humans more than God. I even worshipped myself more than God. In the DNA and in the bad judge and bad corrupt authorities, gangsters. I feared man more than God. All of that was my fault. And Jesus came along through Christ, Yeshua, and said, no more. I have died for you in order to live. You followed me. You died with me. Now you live with me. None of it was my fault. Is now not my fault. And is to come not my fault in the future. This is what Christ has done for me. He's given me life, even though I don't deserve it. But I have never abused my child emotionally or physically. It was her dad that did that, and yet I was punished for him. So giving everything away for nothing. I never hurt or harmed anyone, yet everyone was out to get me. But God knows I have done everything I could to help them. I prayed for them. I loved my enemies and forgave them. God knows what I have done. So God is my ultimate judge. And it says, the iron juggernaut of the north, the punishment for your sins I am given away. Everything you've got is given away for nothing. I'll make you slaves of your enemy in a strange far-off land. My anger is blaming as a fierce furnace against you. So God has covered me and helped me to survive God's anger through Christ. So if that's the case for me, it should be the case for all Christians. Who's going to survive God's anger? Who's the real survivor? Look at this, the fishermen. Watch out, there's going to be assemblies of fishermen. God's order. So fishermen, they're going to fish you out. They're going to go and find you on hills and mountains and caves. Of all these hunters, you'll be hunted down. So in other words, what that means is predators. And these predators are cats. They are not dog. So the dog cats, the wolves in sheep's clothing, are worse than the lions and lionesses, who are the bitches and bastards. So these are the bitches and bastards, the scum of societies, the scum, the gypsy, the perverts. They're bad. But what's worse than the bitch, bastard, pervert, gypsy, scum, what's worse than them is this over here. These are wolves in sheep. They're pretenders. And they are also predators. So these are the big cats. These are the big cats. And these are the small cats. This is where Anne comes from, my foster mum, Catholic foster mum. So wolves in sheep clothing. Okay? So this is what they've done to me, to persecute me and destroy my life. This is God, my strength, my stronghold. When in trouble, descended down to the deepest depths of hell. The godless, who are not religious. Our ancestors are living on lies, useless illusions of smoke. Can mortals manufacture gods and their factories? They're not gods at all. Teach them the meaning of your name. So these are predators. Predators. They're predatory. They also have premature aging and death. Or they're either too young or too old. Extremely dangerous. So they're more dangerous than the perverts. So these will be as the Pharisees and these are as the Sadducees. Okay, so going to Isaiah 17, God's message. Cursed is the strong one who depends on their own muscles, which is misogyny. I spelled it wrong. Misogyny, I think that's right, misogyny. And sets aside God as dead weight. So they're saying that this disabled people are, there's a word that they used, good for nothing. What they say, we say that we are retarded. They're retarded. Disabled, discrimination. And he says, he lives rootless, aimless, and nothing grows. Woman who sticks with God on the other side and trusts in God are like trees in Eden. Through the hottest summer, she has leaf and has fruit of the Holy Spirit. So it doesn't mean the menstrual period. It doesn't mean fertility. It means virtues that are not sold. Honesty, character, truth, humility, and all this. So I'm up against this thug over here. So this is me, Maya, Maria, and Mima, Hapunch. And this is Jay, and all of his lot who love him. So misogyny, where is feminists? Feminists are here, who are getting married for money, and getting married for power, political power, to turn us into slaves, so power, or professionalism, profession, for a job. And they also get married for, what was the other thing, to be rich, and to be, what was the other thing? This is some type of a passion where it's a bad passion. The opposite of bad passion is zeal. Yeah, so this is feminism. So feminism. I think I spelled that right. Feminism. My pen's not working properly. Or feminine. So this money also is there for ego, for human worship. So satanic human worship. Yeah. So it's about the ego. So this is what feminism is about, and femininity, extremely feminine, extremely hypersensitive narcissist who would imprison the innocent and harm you. They want to help to harm, and here they harm to help. But both is bad. Both of that is bad. My pen's gone funny there because that's got piles of papers. So here, the heart is hopelessly dark, a puzzle no one can figure out. I search the heart and the mind, which is the soul, so that we can remove the zombie, the living dead, who is soulless, which is very scary. To treat them as they really are, not as they pretend to be, so cursed by God. Yep, so they're cursed by God. Not cured, who are in the Satan stock. So they belong to Satan's, the devil's army. Versus the humble sinner, who is also a lost soul and is cursed by God. Yep. Or yes, is cured. Is cured. So saints. It looks like I've got a stain there. I still haven't put my waterproof cover on this bed yet, but I don't have bed bugs because I've got bed bugs, all types of powders on there, all types, no bed bugs. So what they worship is a big lie. What Trump is doing at the moment. Yeah, all of this is a lie. Everything that they say on the media, and he also says fake news. So all this mess, look at that, people are spitting on it, are supposed to be authorities, but they're not authorities at all. It's a fraud. What authority? Where? What? Who? When? And all the questions. Where's the authority? Who is in charge? No one. It's all a lie. And so they are, as a losing civilization, our cities are going to be destroyed, and our civilization is destroyed as a result of not being a true Christian. They are making human gods. It's a ghost town. So whatever money they put on it, on any town, it's a fraud. It's the money has been looted or stolen, and it's also money laundering. So therefore, it's not a civilization. It's all dirt, trapped dirt. All of that is a trapped dirt. We need a sledgehammer to destroy what they have trapped and defrauded the cities and turned cities into hell cities, and that we are no longer a sovereign nation, and that we have become much more of a third world country as a result of a fraud. Authorities. It's not an authority. It's not a government. It's a gangster. They are making money out of dead bodies. They're making money out of stolen children. Bulldozing your way, bullying victims. All you think about is yourself. Blind and brainless, God's judgment. What does this mean to me? You take advantage of the weak and you think only about yourself. Fancy place. And God, epitaph, Jehoiakim. Well, there's history repeating itself of a tyrant victim or acting actor. They're not true victims either. They're playing a game. It's a game of the thrones. So how has my life become about them? It's a parasite. Never listen to a thing I said. Your leaders will be blown away, your friends in exile, so they themselves become slaves to sin and rebellion against God. It says you're yourself in the gutter by evil life, disgraced by your evil life. The people thought you were so important. You were a king of the mountain. Well, I'm the king of the castle and you're a dirty rascal. Keep going, doubled up in pain. Worse than childbirth. So what's worse than childbirth is back pain. A broken back. A broken Britain. smashed into bits and pieces. Because after childbirth, and you feel so much pain, that's all put back together again. But the back cannot be put back together again. Lucky bucket. Oh, leaky bucket. Sickness and diarrhea. Thrown away. Parlous place. Listen to God's message. God's verdict. Write this man off. A man off. Well, this man is off. He has no children or anything. Nothing at all. Has ended up in line with the last of the kings. Banana skin. Can they recover? Can they flourish? What does the Bible say? My head is reeling. My limbs are limp. I'm staggering like drunk. Seeing double. He is blind because of the holy words. Can I believe it? I can't believe it. Wastelands, prophets and priests devoted to destruction. The very own temple, mind you, mud spattering in their crimes as bad pigs. You have to mention the mud. Then it goes here. The angel of armies. You can ask the prophets how God will answer you. What will God tell you? Quiet. The God told me this kind of talk. Are you paying attention? You better be. Because I am about to take you in the hand and throw you to the ground. You and your entire city. I will give to ancestors. I've had it with you, the lot of you. You will never going to live this or survive this. You are going down in history as a disgrace. Okay? Yeah, because he's telling all preach lies. Look at this. Preach for money. All of this trouble. False Christians and false religious peoples. I'll give them. I have never preached Jesus for money or for a donation. Never. I'll treat him and his leaders along with the survivors here down to Egypt. I'll make them something that the whole world will look on disgusting. Repugnant outcast, their names used as a curse word. A disease. Effing F. Until the land I found and gave them and their ancestors completely rid of them. That's how much God hates them. Because they do evil. To uproot them, tear them down. I'll keep my eye on them. Their lives, bring them back to the land and build them up. Not tear them down, I'll plant them, not uproot them. So that's the promise to the slaves in exile. Well, those who have enslaved them, God will make them as rotten figs. Yeah. So as it was in the past, so it is in the future. Because God is the beginning and the end. And as it is used by the devil, it's also still used for God's message. So that's how I close my video. I'm not going to show my face because in any of my videos because I want to protect my face because they've attacked my face enough. And as soon as I can get onto my other channels, I will have to lock everything up. Or if I lock everything up, it's too late. The damage has already been done. It may even endanger me even more so. So I can't lock everything up. I have to keep it there for evidence. If I lock it up now, after the damage has already been done, my voice ID stolen, my face ID stolen, all my information, even my personal home address, I can't lock it up. I can't padlock it on my other channel, which is Rainforest Thunder and Penny Pot Honey Pot. Closing the video on God's word. So my channel is about the Holy Bible and the me emptying the bins and making fun of the rubbish going in my bin bag.